You know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. It must be really difficult to be a black man on Wall Street.
Thank you.
Like 1/1,000,000th as difficult as it is to be a black woman on any fucking street.
I want to dive in. Mo and Don kind of have this like cosmic connection. They're always kind of pushing and pulling, drawn back to each other, no matter where the show takes them. And obviously this third season starts off really turning the tables. But I'm curious, like just broadly, what are you excited about? What side of the characters were you excited to play this season, especially in terms of their dynamic, their relationship together?
Well, they definitely have a push-pull. I ask Don all the time, do you think Mo and Dawn can actually make it? I'm always asking him that. I think it's interesting it's exciting to explore their friendship. I mean, they've known each other for how many years has it been?
Oh, many more than the show covers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We see their flashback to the beginning of,
yes,
the brothers when they both worked as runners on Wall Street.
Yeah, and they were very young. So, I think exploring the depth of what it means to be a supportive friend, which obviously I win the award because Dawn went to prison. I don't want to bring it up too many times, but Dawn went to prison for Mo.
You just brought it up right again, though. Which
okay. Well, I'm not going to bring it up again, but one of us went to prison for the other one.
That's three. I think for Mo's character, I mean, he always has a torch for Dawn and has carried a torch for her for many years. And, in the first episode, I believe this season, we see them trying to figure out what they are and what they should go for. Do they just go into the business and just leave all of the real personal stuff alone? Or should they just lean more into the personal thing and not worry about ever trying to work together again? And they both have different answers, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm thinking something you just said, Regina, about wondering if they're going to end up together. I don't know. What's your take on that? Do you root for them to get together? I don't know if that's good for Dawn or not.
I want them to be together.
Yeah.
Mo does. Don doesn't. He's like, Regina, it would be a catastrophe. But I'm like, but they love each other so much. And I'm like, who else wants them? They're all there. Who else could tolerate either of them? But yeah, I think there's a part of me of Regina that wants, Mo and Dawn to finally do it. Even though I know it's going to be fucked up. I still want it.
Well, it's interesting, the season starts off, they've been apart for a little bit, and they both kind of seem like they're flourishing without each other. So I think that maybe there's a lesson they should learn there. I mean,
but if there's one thing these characters don't do is learn lessons.
That's true.
Yeah, that's definitely true. They kind of keep falling back into these old traps, and obviously that's why it's fun to watch. But I'm very curious about what it felt like for you guys to. I mean, I know that we've been filming it pretty recently, but in some sense, after this last year, after how crazy this last year's been, did it feel like a nice comfort to be able to come back to the set and see each other again and work with this crew again?
I think it was a bit of a mixed bag because while we were coming back together to see our old friends and castmates that we love and, catch up and get back to work in a space that we enjoy and on a show that we dig, we're doing it under, really tricky conditions. We're working under these COVID restrictions and you're never not reminded of the fact that this is going on because, everyone's in PPE except the actors when we're acting. And, we're, practicing social distancing and we get tested every other day. And, touch wood, we've been fortunate enough to be able to get through a season without any shutdowns. But all of that stuff is very challenging, on a show where, not just our show, but every show where the atmosphere is one of more communal situation and everyone, kind of can hang out. You can be in each other's trailers and all this stuff and you can sit together at lunch, all these things that are now no-nos. So trying to have an atmosphere of openness and play, while we're dealing with those things behind the scenes, it was challenging, but ultimately, we're all professionals and we're there to do a job and we're a good, like I said, we're enamored of one another and happy for the opportunity to be working on this material. So that wins out, but it wasn't all just come back and it's all good. It was tricky.
Right. And yeah, I guess in some sense, it's probably great. You know, this is 3 seasons in. You guys are familiar with each other. It's not like this is a whole new cast that you have to learn how to work with under these conditions. I don't know, Regina, did it feel strange for you to kind of come back under these guidelines?
Well, I mean, I do think the good thing about coming back to a show where you have known people for 2 seasons is you kind of know their thinking process. So you did kind of know that off the set, people were going to be responsible and safe, and that we all respected each other enough to know that if we went back, or when we went back into a work environment with our cast and our crew, we would all realize that it wasn't just about us, it was about everyone. And so that we would be responsible, you know, equally responsible off the set. So that made it a lot more comfortable, because you kind of, you know, the integrity of your cast. And so, and then it was also in such a challenging time, it was really good to laugh. You know, it's like I go on set and there's so much of what's going on that I can forget when I'm, you know, playing and working with these guys and gal, Casey, June, gals. It makes a big difference to be able to have that kind of escape with that much laughter and that much camaraderie and sincerity and respect. So it was good.
It always feels like an escape to watch the show too. It's so fun to kind of like as the show does, let the period details kind of wash over you. I love that we're in the 90s now. There's a great reference to the Columbia House CD Club, which I never got to be a part of, but I wanted to. Were you guys in the club?
Oh no, you're not. You don't want to be in that club. I think you want to be in that club until it's like, oh, I can't get out of the club. Like, why are they still sending me these? I don't want these anymore. It's like, oh no, you're gonna get them for the rest of your life. It's like trying to get a Valley gym membership.
Yeah, you actually had CDs stacking up in your house then? That happened to you?
I was never dumb enough to say yes.
No,
but I had friends who were like, dog, what are these people still sending me this shit? Oh, you signed that? Oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like read the fine print sort of thing. But it feels like a scam that like Mo and Dot, that feels like something that these guys would have pulled on people in some sense.
Yeah,
we would have definitely done it. Yes, yeah, we should have had that CD scam. Damn.
Were there any details, especially in the costuming? Obviously, it's always fun to see what they're gonna look like in the new year, in the new era. Were there any bits of costuming or hair or even just props, that sort of thing, from the era that you guys had a lot of fun with on set?
Well, I would say this year for me, and every time I say it to Regina when she comes on set, she's like, "Are you messing with me?" I'm like, "I think your costumes this year and your hair, everything's really working for you." I mean, she's really fashion forward, and I think everything's super cool. You know, Mo's going through his year. This year I have a bunch of different looks, a bunch of hats, and trying to like lean into his jazz, you know, thing, and some cool sunglasses and whatnot. But yeah, that's always some of the most fun of the show is seeing the different looks that we get to go through, not only with the costuming, but the set, the art direction, you know, the environments, all of that.
I do love the art direction. I love the art direction of the jazz of Kokomoko, because it's like seeing the equipment that was. It did not feel like a relic then. They looked like dinosaur pieces, but it was so great to see it and be like, and for me, remember it, be like, oh yeah, this is what it was, or you know, like I don't know. It puts you in even the colors. It puts you in the colors, space for sure. And time. Yeah.
Yeah. All those pastels and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good on you guys. I agree. Man, total curveball, but Regina, we spoke at the beginning of last season. I was like, oh, it's the 20th anniversary of Scary Movie. Big deal. Everyone loves that movie. Everyone loves Brenda. This year is now the 20th anniversary of Scary Movie 2, which, of course, you know, you guys kind of cranked those out. I was curious, did it feel like, at the time, do you remember, did you kind of go from one, jump right into the other? Like, I'm just so curious about how that worked out.
Yeah, I think we kind of did. If I can remember, there was never supposed to be a sequel, and then the movie just ended up doing, you know, something different. And then I feel like, yes, it had to go fast because I feel like they were like, if you don't, the jokes wouldn't work in 6 months. So the timing for the jokes to be relevant in the culture, like the basketball thing with the, it had to be then. So there was no time to waste for everything to be relevant. So that was one of the reasons it was like, go.
That's so funny because like obviously the movie is such a hit with people. Like people love it still. Like it still stands the test of time. I guess it's a nostalgia thing, but like the scene with you and the skeleton, Brenda and the skeleton, like that is just always on Twitter. People love that scene. I feel like Brenda's the hero we need right now.
Oh God, Brenda's awful. Do you think of Brenda being a hero and she wanted Cindy to die? It was her best friend. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's great that, you know, that 20 years later, geez, it goes fast.
I know. Yeah.
Double D.
No!
Looks like you're doing pretty good, huh?
I get way more respect in here than I ever did on the outside.
Why are the 5 of us in here?
The cops are racist and homophobic. We're quite a tasty sampler.
I'm a legitimate businessman. I pay taxes.